Welcome to Boozy Bibliophiles. I'm Kenzie.
And I'm Shelves. Hold on. Yep. Yeah. Today we're talking about Scythe and Sparrow. This is the third and final book in the Ruinous love trilogy. It follows Fionn, a doctor in a tiny Nebraska town, and Rose, a tarot reading, motorcycle riding circus performer. And Rose ends up injured and laid up in this tiny town, and they somehow end up in a friends with benefits agreement as Fionn helps her recover and figure out her next steps. Yeah.
Very nice. Quick summary of the book.
Yeah, it is very, very dark and spicy. No, speaking of. So the drink that I paired with this one is a frozen margarita, lots of tequila, and topped with cotton candy. If you know, you know.
Did you make the cotton candy?
God, no. I didn't have time for that. No. But it melted on top, and it kind of added this nice little sugary bit here. But anyway, you got your sugar, and you got the spicy kick-ass of a tequila. So, tell me, Kens, what kind of sweet treat you got for us?
I debated doing a cotton candy, and then I got to the cotton candy scene and decided not to.
Understandable.
Read on.
You know.
In the theme of circus, I decided to make some churros, which Rose conveniently also uses in the book for other purposes. Maybe not quite what you're thinking, but other purposes.
Also, Barbara really likes the churros.
Barbara the raccoon really likes the churros, so we made homemade churros today, and they're actually surprisingly easy to make. They're delicious. They're not good cold, but, put them with some ice cream then you get a dessert later, but if you're eating them fresh, they're amazing. So,
perfect.
Rose's churros.
Rose's churros and a nice margarita.
They drink margaritas in the book, don't they? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know, but it's really good. And now that it made this syrup on top. So yeah, I took frozen strawberries and blended. I had made a margarita, and I was like, oh, this isn't very good. And then I was like, I have frozen strawberries, and so then I blended them together
and threw them on top.
Yeah, I might finish that.
Of the 3 books, which one's your favorite? I listened to the other one so far apart that I'm struggling to.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but I think probably the first one's my favorite just because this author's whole idea is basically shock value. And giving you the horror shock value with a little bit of spice and some comedy. And honestly, it kind of was one and done would have been totally fine. It's in my opinion, it's like she had the idea for the first book, and then she had a couple other ideas that she was like, how do I incorporate those? Because they're so good, but they don't fit
in that one book.
Yeah, and so she created 3. The only thing that I can say I enjoy about the trilogy is the fact that they're all happening simultaneously. And so it's kind of fun because you're like, oh, I know the context of why, the brothers are freaking out about X, Y, or Z, and you kind of know who this ambiguous character is, the Leander, thank you. All very Irish people, but anyway, how about you?
I enjoyed it. I feel like, and I think we differ in this, I feel like I liked this one maybe the most because I felt like the killing was less of the focus.
Yeah.
Where the first 2, you've got, who was the first one? Sloane and Rowan, and wasn't she, they were both serial killers.
They were both serial killers that found each other, and then they started a serial killing, against each other.
They started the game. And then you've got Lachlan and Lark, who, he's a, what's it called?
Enforcer, assassin.
Yeah, it's his job. He's a hitman, essentially.
Yeah,
there we go. He's a hitman. She's pretty innocent, but then there's a lot with that. Where this one, Fionn is clearly not a killer. Mm-hmm. He's very good at cleaning up. Mm-hmm. Very good at cleaning up, but he's not a killer. And Rose clearly does not have the stomach to be a killer, but she she's a vigilante. She's trying to help those women that come to her tarot tent, and she sees them in need. And it's, like I said, it's not, the murder scenes are graphic, but I felt like there were not as many in this one.
Yeah, I can get behind that. And I appreciate that there's not cannibalism like the first one.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what the ice cream from the first movie comes from, or the first book.
Yep.
My issue that I had is I completely understand kind of where you're coming from. I feel like the characters across all three books don't really have, like, because you have dual point of views in each one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you don't get enough of a voice that feels independent. I feel like it literally, really, she doesn't differentiate. It's like she doesn't know how to write from a male's perspective versus I don't know. They don't have just like individual voices that really speak and pop off the page. And so that kind of, and from character to character in the book, but then also from book to book. I'm like, Sloane's a little bit darker. Lark is like bubbly pink, and then like this one's more like Daredevil. But
Daredevil, sarcastic, like.
But the thing is, all of them have been sarcastic. All of them, like, and it's just like they're not different enough characters, and the banter feels just, the dialogue just feels forced. It doesn't feel natural. It just I don't know.
And that's where I could see where it's not necessarily as memorable. It's more of just like a enjoyable shock factor read.
Yes. Yeah. I made a list.
A little dark humor. What is your list?
Well, I have my issues with this book, and then I have my not for you. So this book is not for you if you can't handle dark romance.
Yes.
Graphic, descriptive, intimate scenes. That's part of, you know.
Yeah.
Gore and mention of disfigurement, because that is quite frequent. Issues with serial killers being your protagonists. You know, you can feel this is taking morally gray to a whole different degree. These people aren't morally gray; they're morally black.
Yeah, I was like, but they're not real. But no, they are serial killers that kill serial killers.
None of them have issues with killing, like literally taking the lives of another human, as long as it's justifiable in their head. They don't care.
Which again, I guess, gets into the whole Ted Bundy, like all the big serial killers were getting dark. They had reasons in their mind why they were doing these things. They justified them.
Are you saying Ted Bundy's not that bad?
No, that's what. But I was trying to say they weren't that bad. But then as you say that, then I'm like, oh, you're right. Like it does make them really bad if you like think about how bad. Yes, yeah. I think obviously because of the narrative and like the love story and that kind of stuff, you become numb to what they are doing, and you're like, yeah, that's right. This is a good way, and you're like, no, this is not. Yeah, not a good way to solve it. That being
said, another reason why this book, for me, I gave it 3 stars. By the way, how many did you give it?
3 3/4 stars. Entertaining. I liked the romance. I wanted to get through. I wanted to see Fiona and her finally like, I'm just in it for the romance.
You just want it for the happy ending?
I just want it for the happy ending.
Okay.
And they do have their happy ending, and they get all the brothers together with all their, like, wives, and yes, they have a murder party, which is really dark, but it's,
Yeah. So, my issue is, you had that happy ending, and everything wrapping up pretty, about right there.
Yep.
And then you had about 200 more pages that we didn't need. None of it was needed. It's like, literally, they created this conflict to tear the love interests apart that, I don't want to say minuscule. She created this.
Well, and I totally see that because, you've got Rose living with Fiona, and they're like, got this friends with benefits thing going on, and she goes back to the circus. And there's a montage of like him coming to visit her, and you can see, and that's where like there's that cute little scene of like him chasing her around the circus, and I mean, kind of cute. It's cute in a dark romance way. Come on, this is like very mild dark romance. If we're gonna be really honest.
I know.
I'm thinking in comparison to like the Never King, like stuff like that. This is fairly
tame.
It felt mild. It's fairly tame. I mean, it's graphic, but it's tame. Anyways, yes, I feel like at that
point, Adeline.
Oh, I have not read that one yet.
Don't do it.
But I agreed, because at that point it could have stopped, because this Leander guy who was in the other books hadn't even arrived, and like hadn't even been a discussion point up until then. So it's yeah, it was definitely an issue created to continue the story and add to the gore.
Yeah, that shock value.
But again, you're not picking it up thinking you're reading Pride and Prejudice. Like you're picking it up and you know it's a dark romance. Like,
where's Elizabeth and Darcy?
It's gonna have Mr. Darcy.
Mr.
You know
Darcy.
you're gonna have smut. You know it's where is he?
Where is he? Yeah. It literally packed with murder, mayhem, and spice. I don't know. It was a struggle, because to get to the first murder really was 100 pages. And it was like, it felt very slow and...
Oh, the first official murder, not her first attempt.
Yeah, no, not her first attempt. And then it was just very slow, and it wasn't even like a slow burn. It was like, I don't know. I just had issues because Fion's just dealing with it, embracing his darkness.
I know, that's where I was trying to think. I'm like, well, okay. Again, yes, he murdered his father, so it's dark. Minus that, he didn't feel that dark of a character.
No, for as deep as he felt.
No.
And then, I mean, honestly, the one interesting part about Fion, because I'm not a fan of his character. I don't find him attractive. He sounds like he's a whiny little emotional, like Harry Potter in the third Harry Potter, you know?
Oh.
And fifth Harry Potter, just emotional angst. Woe is me. Nobody understands me. I'm so within myself. The most interesting part of him, they don't even cover. And that's when he goes and lives in wherever the fuck he lives. And is like forced to do these like dark tasks, and you know, that's the most interesting part to me. I'm like, I want to know the kind of shit he got up to there. That's gonna leave trauma. And then he's fine. And then he's fine.
And that you, yeah, again, yes, you're reading it for the smut and the darkness.
Fine.
It was interesting again how that first half is like the timeline is 6 months and it's like half the book, and then all of a sudden you're jumping like 5 years in the last half of the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
I had 2 quotes. Did you have any?
I'm glad you found quotes, because I couldn't find any.
Yeah, you ready? So,
yes.
Just because we're talking about his darkness, it's okay to love your darkness and still love yourself. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a whole one.
Oh yeah, that was the good. There's some sweet stuff in it when you set aside the fact that they're murdering people and justifying it.
Exactly. That's Rose. That's
Rose.
Fion, because Fion's dealing with his darkness, his poor little wee lamb darkness. Okay. The other quote I have is, let me start with the beginning of it. Obviously, they boned and they fell in love so quickly, and the second that they kissed finally, and like all those rules and blah blah blah. Anyways, but then again, I go back to the thing that tore them apart was him. Like they had killed Homie together in that haunted house, and then he like left and didn't tell her, and that was enough for her. Oh, just destroyed. And I'm like, really? Like, it didn't feel like that big of a catalyst.
I feel like it could have been, but because of the time jumps, you were supposed to get that they'd had this year and they had been connecting and then falling in love. Mm-hmm. But I feel like because you didn't see more of it, it was hard to
identify that.
Buy it.
Yeah. So they're rekindling at the very end. Mm-hmm. It felt so much more like this author had this whole scene in her head, the perfect like love story ending, but didn't have a book to put it in, and then just fit it at the end here. Is how I felt. I thought it was really beautiful. I really liked it. I loved the idea that he was writing to her, you know, every week, and then he knew where she was gonna be, and it had to do with the tarot cards. And there's something about a man like taking on or like learning about a girl's hobbies And like that, there's something about that I'm like, oh,
so sweet. I mean, she did learn to crochet for him.
Was it for him or for the sex swing?
Well, no, it kind of goes hand in hand, but that was...
At the end when they're finally back together, I really felt like I'm like, wow, this is probably the most, how do you say it, like healthy relationship I've seen at the end of a book in a while. And it's when, I think it's Fionn that's talking, and they're kind of alone for however many weeks as they're traveling up and down the coast together, rekindling. Every day we write each other letters. Every evening we read them out loud. We talk through the way we feel. Sometimes we make love, sometimes we fuck, sometimes we fight, or we laugh, or we cry. But every day we heal. And I was like, that is a very healthy relationship.
It's very mature for these serial killers.
Right? These two aren't really...
So nice that everyone can find somebody.
Okay, I was having a moment and you took it there. I was trying to level with you.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, it's so nice that everybody has somebody and they found each other and it's...
Found each other. The Scythe Sparrow.
I know. It was just a easy read. It's a...
Too long.
I was going to say a palate cleanser from other smut, but it's not. If you've been reading too many classic books, it is a solid palate cleanser from all the classics.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. If you just need something brainless that's like kind of takes your brain away.
Yeah, and has some like entertaining pieces sprinkled throughout, and again, shock factor things throughout that you're like, that's not what I thought of with cotton candy, or just other things. Oh, I forgot that was part of that whole scene. Oh yeah.
Yep. Question: would you recommend this to Mom?
No. If I did, I would turn off my phone for a couple weeks. I would not be answering any questions that she may have about the book.
Good call. Would you make Mitch read it? Would he enjoy it? Does he like gore?
He read Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is pretty gory, and there's lots of incest, all sorts of things. I don't think he would enjoy it. He actually did ask, he's like, is there a third book in that dragon series? And I was like, yeah, yes, there is. Remember, I went to the release for the book. Read the copy. I always like to push books on him, so I mean, I could give it a try.
Yeah, I know you do.
But I just, yeah.
I feel like most of the books we push on him are fantasy or sci-fi.
Yeah. And this is realistic.
Yeah, there's no witches or warlocks in this.
Nope, there's not.
Nope.
It's totally relatable. Once you get like a solid 100 pages into it, like you can read through it pretty quick. Like you said, the first chunk is a little bit slower. And then you can buzz through, read it for just a little something different. A little bit of romance. Well, there's a lot of romance in there, but
Yeah. Like I said, the section that I want more of is him in Croatia.
I say that would be interesting because that would build so much of him as a character, so much more.
This is what I'm saying. He was so bland.
Well, I mean, even her, you don't get a lot of backstory on.
Like, you don't get any backstory as far as, like, yeah, you heard that there was some trauma from her childhood and some...
She ran away to the circus, and that was kind of became her new home, but yeah, you don't know. Well, they allude to, like, some abuse or neglect and stuff, but it's not, It's like... The characters are very surface.
Yeah.
Level.
Yeah. I feel like maybe in order to keep it a... dark romance comedy almost.
Comedy.
Like, for that reason, a couple reasons. For that reason, she probably didn't dive into that darker stuff that would have given that character depth. And this book wasn't meant to be that.
Maybe. I mean, I felt like as I got to the end and saw the brothers like reconnect, it was very clear in my mind that she envisioned them and then split off and was like you said, this is how I want these three brothers to end. this is the path. And I would be really curious to tandem read all three.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Are you going to reread these?
It's not one that I think I would reread. No.
I am happy to close this book and let it be another trophy on my shelf. I am the serial killer of books.
Things that I did like it was different. I had not read anything like it before, or that concept, and I liked the humor that she put into it to make the darkness not so dark and make you again be like, they're not that bad, like really. You know. She's turning these people that are very, very dark, not so dark.
Mm-hmm.
The humor.
Mm-hmm.
And the
I agree. I'm going to finish all this. It's already hitting me, but I need it. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, that's better. Mm-hmm.
Nice sugar.
Were they good? Did the kids like them?
Yeah, oh yeah. Aria decided she was going to make dessert for everybody and closed herself into the kitchen so we couldn't see, and came out with a plate that had scoops of ice cream with the churros sticking out.
Cute.
I know. She was very excited. But no, they both helped me make the churros too, so that was fun. Super easy.
Fun. A fun little video we'll make.
A thing that I liked, and I know we talked about this already and you did not like it. I thought it was fun because I had not seen it before, how she, as we're jumping back to the book, included the playlist for each chapter. And I know I had not seen that before.
Clearly you need to read some more of the Zodiac Academy, sister.
Oh, Zodiac.
Mm-hmm. And then I have so many books that have it. And I just like, it's one thing kind of like how like Rebecca Yarros does it, where she like, I think that's interesting, where it's, you know, these are the songs that gave me the inspiration for this character or the scene or whatever. I'm interested in that, but I want to go seek it out. I don't want it shoved in my face. And I don't know why in particular it annoys the shit out of me, but it just does. It's one of my pet peeves.
I know it does. I tried, and like I said, I enjoyed the fact that she did that. I have not listened to the whole playlist. There was one chapter where I was like, just because it's here, I'm going to give it a try. And so I tried listening to it while reading, which I realized I feel like I'm good at multitasking, but that was like a whole nother level, because I was like trying to listen to the words of the song and trying to read the story, and I was like, I can't do this. But as I finished the chapter and then listened to the songs, I was like, I see how it like, it's cute how it fits. But again, I had never seen that connection before.
Yeah, Zodiac Academy, I mean, let's talk about the spice factor. It's interesting because some of their books, they do have like an actual playlist. Other ones, it's like the characters just reference the song. And so you can like clearly see like that's like a plug for the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I only did the first two so far of that one.
You did the second? Oh, you did do the second one.
I did do the second one because I wanted to figure out what happened. Yeah. That's another discussion, is that book.
I know. Anyways.
Cool. Any other big things with this book?
No, I pretty much bitched about it the whole time.
I feel like we should describe why you're a raccoon.
I thought we did.
No, not really. She has a pet. Rose has a pet raccoon. The
reason why I'm a raccoon is because of the character named Barbara. Barbara is a feral raccoon with an addiction to prescription medications and to breaking and entering. So we first meet Barbara when she is breaking into the clinic that Fionn works at because she gets into all these drugs. And then him and Rose go to capture her, and Rose throws a blanket over Fionn's head with Barbara and just gets attacked, mauled by Barbara. Well, then somehow Barbara gets injured, so Rose takes her in. Then somehow Barbara joins the circus.
Oh shit, and she's with the poodles. So again, the humor in the book, just the silly little things. It's a silly book. It's silly things, which that then made me think about the guy that she tried to kill by giving him too many methamphetamines, and then she stuck him on her treadmill in her RV.
Yep.
Again, that's where it's enjoyable.
The way that ends is like, if you've ever seen a gore movie, like with traditional like slasher gory people, any chance they can to impale someone falling from something onto something, it's like
that's their go-to.
They go for it. So I'm like, is she like married to one of those kind of people, or does she write for them?
I don't know.
And then
If you
eyeballs.
don't
What
think
is
you
it?
like the
Eyeballs.
eyeballs, I know. You don't like eyeballs.
I don't like eyeballs.
I don't like eyeballs. I don't like gore. I don't like movies like The Saw. This makes it somewhat funny because it's not as often, and then you've got stupid shit again where she gives the guy methamphetamines and he has to run on her treadmill to try and like get it out of it. I don't know.
It's pretty funny.
It's just stupid stuff. Some of that kind of reminded me of like, although she's smarter than that, Finley Donovan, that series.
You think that this girl's, you think Rose is smarter than them?
Well, like stuff like that, it was done like there was more thought to it. Where like Finley Donovan, it's like, oh, I left this like passed out guy in the back of my car. I left my car running. Oh my gosh, the garage door is closed. How is he dead? Like
she didn't. Okay, one of those things she didn't actually.
She didn't close the garage door, so yeah, that was
yeah. But I was gonna say, at the same time, she is so freaking impulsive that when she gets in the back of the truck, she has a broken leg. With the intention of killing this dude in a moving car that she is also in.
Yeah, she's not. She's really impulsive. Yeah,
she's very impulsive.
I thought that same thing as she was buying like the hunting knife, and then she's like following him out and like, I'm gonna jump in his truck. I'm like, girlfriend, your bone was sticking out of your leg like 2 days ago.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You've just had surgery, and now you think you're going to try and murder this? Like,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. No. I was having the hardest time pulling, and so I'm going to keep pulling because I feel like maybe this, I don't know. Anyway, this is the card that I pulled for this book. It is the Knight of Cups. So, the quest for love brings speedy results that may or may not stand the test of time. Pace yourselves. Or pace yourself. Basically, it's all about being really emotional and making decisions very quickly. Yeah. Yep. Are you doing something purely for recognition and attention? It's easy to get swept up in emotional experiences, such as idealizing someone or something. Slowing down will allow you to see the situation more clearly and enjoy the process as it unfolds.
I mean, that sounds like her.
Yep. Very impulsive and passionate, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess it kind of works.
Yeah. I mean, she's a vigilante. She is like, she sees these women in need that have these abusive husbands, and she's going to help them. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate that she started with poisons before she went to physically violently murdering them.
Well, yeah, like initially she was the...
Well, yeah, they talk about, this is the one thing that I marked. She's like, have you ever heard of Giulia Tofana? She was an Italian woman in the 17th century. She made poisons from arsenic and valdonia, and as the story goes, she gave them to women essentially to like help take care of their spouses. And so that's who she thinks she is, modern day.
Is that The Lost Apothecary? That's that book?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lost Apothecary. And then there was another one too. Did I write it down? Oh, I didn't write it down. It reminded me of another one too. Lost Apothecary, because that is what she does in that one. And then a little bit, was it by any other name? I felt like there was a little bit of that in that book too. But yes, that was Lost Apothecary.
Yeah. Anyways, interesting. You have anything else?
Again, 3 3/4 stars. It's enjoyable. It's not one I would read again. It's dark. It's smut. I read for the romance. I want to see if they get together, and if they keep pulling them apart, I will keep reading until they are finally back together.
I wanted one of them to die. That's the kind of romance I like.
You like Me Before You, then. That kind of romance.
I like the kind that literally, like, destroys your soul. Like, literally, read Rebecca Yarros' books. Wait, there's one... I think it might be Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's One True Loves. God, that one. Some people hated it.
Yes, I read that. I listened to that one. I know I liked it, but I'm trying to...
Did you? It's the one where she thinks that her husband's dead, and then she falls in love with another guy, and then her husband magically shows back up.
That's right. Yes, that's heartbreaking.
You know what? Something sweet to drink while you're reading something real spicy. What a good mixture.
A little light in the mood there.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy
Boozy
Bibliophiles.